Africa. Death toll rises from Mali's military attack as 38 soldiers are now known to have been killed. Cameroon's President Paul Biya orders the release of over 300 separatist prisoners to douse the Anglophone crisis. And Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari meets with the Nigerian community in South Africa. Hello and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Teniola Shoboale. The government of Mali says 38 soldiers are now known to have been killed in an attack by jihadists on two military camps on Monday. The attacks in the towns of Bolkesi and Mondoro near the border with Burkina Faso was among the deadliest on Malian security forces this year. Defense Minister Ibrahima Dahiru Dembele has confirmed that 33 missing soldiers have been found alive, 8 of whom are receiving treatment. He did not say how many more, if any, are still missing. The government said its troops killed 15 militants and have since recaptured the targeted areas but lost a lot of equipment. Mali is struggling to contain militant fighters linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. Civilian deaths in the country increased fourfold between 2012 and 2018. At least 13 people have been killed and others injured after a bus collided with a truck in a town near the lakeside city of Kisumu. The accident happened in Awasi town, 42 kilometers away from Kisumu, as the bus headed to the capital city, Nairobi. The regional police head, Benson Mawi, is quoted as saying the driver of the bus tried to overtake a tractor and crashed into an oncoming truck. The police said 12 passengers, including the bus, including a child, died on the spot. The truck driver also died. Kenyan journalist Cyprus Mbati joins us now to discuss more on this tragic story. Hello, Cyprus. Thanks for joining us on Network Africa. What is the update at this time? Were there other passengers, and what is the current death toll?
Good evening. The death toll from the accident which happened last night in the western part of Kenya, which is around 400 kilometers away from Nairobi, still stands at 13. We had 51 passengers in the vehicle, other than the bus, and almost 30 of them were hospitalized with various injuries. And so far, so many issues are being blamed here and there, but around 18 of them are in serious condition, and others have been treated and discharged so far. And the incident is under investigation for further action from the authorities here in Kenya.
A very tragic time for the families of these victims. But how are Kenyans reacting to this story?
Accidents on that road, the road between that's Kisumu and the Kericho, are actually common. It's not a new phenomenon to many Kenyans and those who are visiting here. This comes in the wake of sustained government efforts to kind of address the menace, because authorities are trying to put in place measures, including retraining of drivers, retrieving drivers' licenses who have been involved in such accidents, but it seems to be recurring once more and repeatedly. So it's an issue of now waiting to see what comes next, because we had the government spokesman, Charles Owino, giving a statement saying various measures are being put in place, especially ahead of the Christmas time, to address such accidents, not only on the route, but the entire part of the country. So it's a matter of waiting and see what comes next. But Kenyans are appalled, because losing 13 people at one stage is not an issue, an issue that can be swept under the carpet like that. And men are asking why they have repeated accidents like that. But then when you hear the explanation from the authorities, they're saying because of the measures they are put in place, we have had a slight kind of a drop in accidents involving public service vehicles. Right now, they're saying out of the 3,000 deaths that occur yearly, private cars lead in the accidents, followed by commercial vehicles, then followed by motorcyclists, then by the public service vehicles. So the trend was different a year ago, according to them. That's an improvement because they have dropped in position 4. So it's an issue of now waiting to see the way forward.
You mentioned this happens, too many times. What comments have the government made so far, especially with the latest accident?
The government is giving statements saying they are going to take action on those involved. The driver of a bus, we see it was a driver of a bus and a truck which was carrying cargo on that route. But witnesses are saying the driver of the cargo, the truck, and never dimmed his lights. So once the driver of the passenger carrying bus tried to overtake, he was blurred. He was blinded by the strong the flashlights. So he lost control of the vehicle, the bus, and there was a head-on collision. And well, that's an issue of discipline from the drivers on the road. But then now it's an issue of now waiting to see what happens next. Are they going to be punished? Are they going to withdraw their driving licenses? Those are the threats they're giving here and there. We're waiting to see.
And of course, police attribute these accidents to reckless driving, flouting of public transport regulations and on-roadworthy vehicles. But what are they actually doing here to ensure that this doesn't happen again?
The government is introducing new driving licenses and systems of checking such accidents, whereby if as a driver you're involved more than once, twice in an accident, your driving license is withdrawn. But then here in Kenya, you find that the system is not centralized. That if you are punished in one part of the country, for example, you are punished in Western Kenya, and your driver is license is withdrawn, you can live there and come to central part of Kenya and continue doing business. So systems have to be worked upon to address such a menace. The promises are there from the authorities that they are going to address this issue, but then it's still recurring. So I don't know whether how long Kenyans or rather the road users are going to wait for further action to address the menace. But then there are threats from government that the measures being put in place are going to address the problem, especially the deaths and those being injured on the roads.
Yeah. All right, then Cyprus Umbati, Kenyan journalist, thanks for speaking to us on Network Africa.